Welcome to Giant Ability TV.
The reality that Nigerians have to come to terms with is to actually know whether they are truly bowed in the head or that they are just taller than the hairs on their head. It is of great concern and a cause for worry when one thinks of how Nigerians handle matters of life and death with levity. It is therefore not out of place to conclude that the illiterate northerners, especially the Fulanis, have succeeded in making illiterates out of the educated southerners. Suffice to say also that they have only succeeded in making fools of themselves and of those who were foolish among the southerners who posed to be educated. For anyone to come out and say that Nigeria is in a religious war is to have made a statement that fits in for description as an understatement. Peter Obi was accused of saying to Bishop David Oyedepo in a telephone conversation during the build-up to the 2023 election that Nigeria was in a religious war.
I think I'm prompted by the Spirit. We need to pray for this nation. Now watch. It's not experience that makes a prophet. It's a call. I warned this nation 2015 that we are heading for crisis and trauma. Many were washing their mouth. Some of them are off today. God does not require consensus to raise a prophet. I saw a nation going down the drain. I cried. There are many prophets of politicians who speak what they want to hear. Emobi Tanori and Gekonian Oba. What? I have been very silent. What we need now is not a leader, it's a deliverer. And I'm telling you the truth. Almost nothing remains except the church that can be called a nation.
The aftermath of which were disruptive criticism from the quarters of those who are guilty of promoting religious sentiment and division in the country. What many have failed to realize is that the religious war in Nigeria is as old as the country itself. The Jihad of 1804, led by Usman Dan Fodio, which was a religious war against the pagan north, and with some of its consequences as a conquest of the northern part of Nigeria extending to Ilorin in Kwara State, sowed the seed of what we have as the Boko Haram insurgency, Fulani herdsmen and farmers' clashes, and the lopsided political appointment made by President Muhammadu Buhari in Nigeria. To worsen the situation is the Muslim ticket of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential aspirant of All Progressive Congress Party and the president-elect. Going by the history of Nigeria, the country has lost so many precious lives to jihadism than any other causes of death, either secretly or openly, in the country called Nigeria. I consider the negative statements made by the enemies of progress against His Excellency, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, over the comment that he was said to have purportedly made in respect of what truly is the situation going on in the country as mischievous as well as a distraction. Nigerians in the diaspora are feeling the pains of the evil being perpetrated against Nigerians at home. The reports received on a daily basis are heart-wrenching and are bitter pills to swallow. What is annoying about all that is going on is the realization that only a few percentage of Nigerians, less than 1%, are those that have held the country to ransom, and with President Muhammadu Buhari as the most ungrateful Nigerian and the worst leader that has torn the country apart, not only along religious but also along ethnic lines. Recall that when he was coming in 2015, Nigerians closed their eyes against all divisive tendencies of religion and ethnicity to elect him president. God is truly the God of knowledge by whom actions are weighed. Because God knew his heart, hence he made Nigeria ungovernable for him by making him the first Nigerian leader under whose watch Nigerians experienced an unprecedented carnage from Boko Haram insurgency, Fulani herdsmen and farmers' clashes, banditry and kidnapping. Nigeria has not known peace since Buhari assumed office and to date. This is the more reason why everything possible must be done to prevent the swearing-in of their president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Nigerians should learn a lesson from the United States of America and in relations to the indictment of the former President Donald Trump. It is time for our former leaders to be made to face the music for all the atrocities they committed while in office. Nigerians have been too easygoing and quick to forgive. Otherwise, a former president like the evil genius Ibrahim Babangida should not have a mouth to speak in Nigeria, going by all the atrocities that he committed while in office against Nigeria, one of which was the killing of Dele Giwa, the editor-in-chief of Newswatch magazine, through a parcel bomb. Think of Abacha as a former leader in Nigeria, and with all the evils that he committed against Nigerians, who still have a stadium named after him in Kano, and probably some streets as well. Nigerians should begin to prepare a case file that would be used against President Muhammadu Buhari after his retirement. If not in Nigeria, at the International Criminal Court in The Hague, because judgments are not executed against the wicked and evil former leaders in the country, the hearts of those leaders in power are set to do evil continually. This is the time for Nigerians to begin to think differently, change the narratives and punish leaders as deterrents that the country may move forward. Let me also take notice at this juncture that since Nigeria is in a religious war, that the Christian leaders are either too relaxed, complacent, or have got their priorities wrong. It is noteworthy that the Bible says that of the increase of the government and peace of Jesus Christ there shall be no end. It is not enough for the Nigerian Christians to be at peace as they have always been, which is a good virtue, but it is more important for them to compel the submission of their enemies, who are always at war against them. The only language that the devil understands is that of power, and Christianity is a religion of power. This truth is only known among the Nigerian Christians, but now is the time to make it known to those who think they have the sole prerogative of waging war against the Christians in the name of jihad and in the guise of terrorism, banditry, and all forms of religious extremism, one of which is the Muslim ticket. Realize that when Christianity is devoid of power, it becomes an ordinary religion. If the Nigerian Christians can come together as one under one umbrella and one thinking cap, and pray to the God of Israel who answers by fire and not go in separate ways, dishing out prophecies for or against the devils in our country, I trust God that an unprecedented turnaround for the country, not even before the May 29, 2023, but before the end of this month of April, will bring about undeniable evidences to show for everyone in Nigeria and outside of it. I call for a solemn assembly of the ministers and the children of God on the subject of the religious war that is being fought against Nigerian Christians, for the plans and purpose of God for the country is that of peace and not of evil. It is time to take charge and not take care, for those who take care don't get ahead. Moreover, those who have been captured by the enemies of God, who are now in captivity, should realize that those who eat with the devil shall be consumed with the devil. And a word for the captors is that those who lead into captivity shall also go into captivity. If the Fulanis in Nigeria think that the grip that they have on Nigeria is forever, let this resonate with them, that even the captives of the mighty shall be delivered, and the way they have been running business in Nigeria will not be as usual, for God has vowed to make an end of their hold on the country this year 2023. God has heard the groanings of his children, and it is time for him to act by making an offense to be his defense. On a final note, the United States of America, which is the custodian of democracy and a beacon of light to those countries that truly practice it, is informed that Nigeria may need a pause in the practice of what is currently regarded as democracy, but which is not.
As we engage with your countries, the United States will always lead with our values: support for democracy, respect for the rule of law, commitment to human rights, responsible government. All are part of our DNA. That doesn't mean we always get everything right. We surely don't. And the work of democracy is never finished or never guaranteed. It's about consistent and constant self-improvement. But that's why democracy is the best tool we have to address the wide range of challenges we all face. And that belief is shared by Africans and Americans alike. For South Africa's world-changing triumph over apartheid, to Nigeria's not too young to run movement, empowering a new generation of changemakers, to the record voter turnout in Zambia, where young people demanded a better future, we see over and over again that our greatest power is our people.
An interregnum is imperative in the interest of Nigerians, who have always been at the receiving ends of the evils being perpetrated against them in the name of democracy. Only the wearer of the shoes knows where it pinches. Nigerians are suffering and are denying the dividend of democracy because the system being practiced fits in better for description as autocracy. We need to break so that we may not all be broken into pieces under the sledgehammers of the All Progressive Congress Party with its leaders as Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Understand this and very well, that what drove a rat, making it seek refuge in fire, is deadlier than fire. The situation in Nigeria is worse than the unwarranted aggression of Russia against Ukraine. If America and all the countries who are pro-democracy that are committed to standing solidly behind Ukraine against Russia have hearts that are devoid of discrimination and segregation, Nigeria as a country, being the largest economy and democracy in Africa, deserves the same kind of commitment extended towards Ukraine. For what is good for the goose is also good for the gander. The worst military regime in Nigeria is better than the democracy that is practiced right now, with a false and fraudulent constitution that does not in any way represent the will of the people, being a document handed over and forced on the people by the ousted military junta under the leadership of General Abdul Salami Abubakar in 1999. Here are the cries of Nigerians, and our weeping is long overdue, for it is more than a night.
Thank you for watching.